If you are new around here, then hello, it's lovely to meet you, and if you are returning, then thank you very fucking much for coming back. My name is Alana and I'm a 35-year-old lady living in Scotland. That is where the accent is from, and on this channel we predominantly talk about beauty, skincare, hair care, bloggery, vloggery, lifestyle kind of bullshit, but with a little bit of sarcasm and cynicism thrown in on top. Now I do like a sweary word on this channel. I like to say fuck, shite and bugger, and if you're not into that kind of thing, I completely understand. Please feel free to vacate at any point. But if this does sound like your kind of cup of tea and you fancy seeing a Scottish woman talking about what kind of sparkly shit she's putting on her eyeballs at the moment, there's a subscription button in the corner. Give it a thumbs up, all that YouTuber bullshit. So today we are going to do, and it is actually a little darker now as I film this intro. It's as if like I'm filming it at 10 o'clock at night. Sorry, it's actually only 3:10 in Scotland. Can you fucking believe it? We're going to do this look today. I'm hoping you can see it. Hold on, I'll zoom you in. It's a really pretty glittery green winged eyeliner for Christmas time, and I'm sure this year, as opposed to the last 2 years, people might actually have Christmas nights to go out on. So here is a little look. I look like I'm drunk here. Here is a little look that I have created for you, and if you want to see how to create this look, then just keep on watching. Alright, I'm going to start off with eyes today because this is going to be a simple look, but it is going to be a liner, and if you struggle with liners, what can I say? This probably isn't the tutorial for you. I am not a makeup artist, I am merely an enthusiast, and simply put, I can only do my eyeliner because of practice. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, but the skin and all the other stuff is going to be quite pared down. So we're going to start with eyes, and then I'll tell you what I'm putting on as my base. So I am going to take these two wet liners from Glisten. One is in Evergreen and one is in Loch Ness. That's how you say it, Loch Ness. They are very similar, so that's Evergreen there, and Loch Ness is just a slightly lighter green. If you see them next to each other, they're very similar tones. They're definitely in the same colour family, but this one is a bit lighter. So I'm going to kind of mix the two of them together. I love these eyeliners. I've said it for a very long time. I do have a code with Glisten Cosmetics. I'll pop it down below. It is an affiliate code, just so you know, but I think they are fantastic liners. They're really good to use as a base as well. If you're wanting a bit of colour down as a base before you use shadows, you have to do it a little bit sparingly and with a fluffy brush, but they work really well for that too. But today we're purely just going to be doing liner. And just as a little bit of preparation, as I said, a green eyeliner, use whatever one you want. I've also got some green glitter here. I don't actually know where this is from. This was sent to me from a friend and it was just depotted for me, but I thought the colour was perfect, so I'm going to use that. I have some MAC Fix Plus to wet the eyeliner, but you can use water, and I also have some Inglot Duraline to help with the glitter. So that is what I'm going to be doing with my liner. Base products and all that kind of stuff will come later, but I'm going to go ahead and line one of my eyes and then come back to you and show you the other one. Alright, so I've finished this eye. Basically what I've done is add a little bit of bronzer. There's not really any shadow to this eye. The liner, the glitter, and a little bit of, do you call these a shadow? I don't know. It's the Danessa Myricks all over multi-use stuff. I can't remember what these are called. Just holographic powders. It's the Mini Lightwork 3 palette that I'm working off of, but I don't actually know what these are individually called. And I used Spring Equinox, which is obviously this green colour in the middle, and I've just popped a little under the brow there as well. I'm not putting anything through my brows yet or anything like that, but I thought I would just show you the gist of the look before we go any further. I'm going to zoom in as well so you can see the glitter, and then we will start on this eye. And there we go, so you can see it's a very simple eye, but I think very effective for this time of year, for Christmas. And actually in real life, the sparkle off of this glitter is much more impressive than on my camera, but what can I say? I'm just looking at this in the viewfinder and in my mirror, and I'm thinking I might just add a tiny smidge of bronzer underneath as well. I feel like, see, even just adding that little bit there just kind of pulled it all together a little bit. So I'm just gonna pop that under there. Just brought it together ever so slightly. I don't know why. So we're gonna do this. So how to prep your eye. What I would say is if you do have any real like veining and anything like that, you might want to start with a base product, like a shadow base, a little bit of concealer. That's all I'm using. I'm going to put a little bit here as well because I do have a bit of redness there. I could put it underneath as well, but I'm probably going to do that after. Also, trying to get them the same line. We'll see how that goes. So I'm just going to use a little sponge here just to press that over the eyelids. I wouldn't generally do this when I'm doing an eye look, but because there's not going to be any coloured shadow, I want my eye to look slightly perfected, like no veins, all that kind of stuff. There probably is still veins on this side, but I think you get the gist of it. I just want it to look nice and flawless before we start. And I'm going to take a little bit of glossy powder as well and just set that on the eye there. Again, be cautious with doing this, because if you do have particularly creasy eyelids or crepey eyelids, then this might accentuate that, so you might just want to use an eyeshadow base that does it all in a bit of a winner. This won't make it sticky. It's not one of those kind of situations where it's going to make the colour pop. It's just to make the eye base look flawless. Okay, so then I went in with this, which is the KGH and Spectrum 22 brush. I have two of these brushes. This is the other one here. They both happen to be green now, so you can tell what kind of liner I like. There is this one as well from KGH, which is the 24. That is longer, but I prefer, I think I've got more control when I use this one, so I'm going to use that today. What I've done is add a little bit of Max Fix Plus into one of the lids of the eyeliners, and then just mix the two together until I have a colour that I am happy with here. So that's the lid, and I've just mixed this up. Now what I would say is make sure your eyeliner isn't too wet and watery. If you're using things like this, I say make them a little bit like an acrylic paint, if you know what that is. Just a little bit thicker, right? You don't want it to be super duper watery, because then it's going to be kind of not opaque enough. It's going to look a little bit see-through. You're going to have to go over it a few times. Try and get it as thick as you can without it being so thick that you can't run a line. Takes a bit of practice, but again, try it on the back of your hand first. You'll get used to it. It's not difficult. It's almost like when you start making gravy and it needs to be just the right thickness. Similar thing. So what I'm going to do is start from the inside. I just start kind of in here and carefully over the top of my eye. Now this side is a little more difficult because I am right-handed and this is my left eye, so I do usually need a slightly steadier hand on this side, and they're never ever going to be perfectly equal, but if anybody is going to scrutinise your makeup that much, fuck them. So what I generally do is I will take it down to, see where your eye ends here? I will take it down to there, just for the colour. Now, if you like this shape, rather than winging it out, leave it at that. You don't need to take it all the way out. If you've got a particularly hooded eye where it's going to cause a lot of issue, then just try it with just on the actual eye line. Maybe you want to just take a little baby wing out even. It's up to you. It very much matters on your shape of your eye, how your eyeliner goes. And as I say, I'm not a makeup artist. If I could tell you about all different types of shapes of eyes, then I probably would be a makeup artist and I'd be able to advise you on that. But I would say practice makes perfect. I didn't do this right the first time I decided to do it. I'd been doing makeup and winged eyeliner for a very long time as a teenage goth. I'm sure lots of you might understand that. But to just get it right, and as I've got older as well, like this bit has sagged a bit more, so I start to lose the wing sometimes if I frown or anything like that. So I have had to change the shape a little bit over the years as well, so it is just about practice. Now at this point, if you've got that done, you might have to go back in and slightly dip your water into some of your Fix Plus or water again and mix it up and make sure it's that decent consistency again. Now what I tend to do is, if you can see where my eye ends here, I am just doing a line from here to here. That's all I try and do, is bring it from here up to the corner of the tail of my brow. As I say, that shape won't work for everybody, but that's what works for me. So, and trying to get them the same is impossible, so we're going to do this. So you can see this little stripe that I've made here. That's what I tend to do first, is just draw that little tail. And then I go back in and draw kind of from the inside out to here. Try and make sure that these two match up smoothly. Did you see that there? And then I will go in and just finesse and like obviously fill in this bit here. Or leave it. You could leave it as a little blank winged eye. That'd be quite cool. But I then just kind of finesse that until I am happy. They're not perfect, they never will be, but it's kind of where I want it to be. Sometimes I might find I have to go like underneath as well from here and draw up just to make it a bit more even, because sometimes it might look a little skinny and I want it to look like it's coming from here and out. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm good with that there now. that'll do me. I'm now going to take this brush here from LARAFAYE, and this is their E31. It's a little angled brush there, so you could use it for like brows and stuff as well. You could use it for your winged liner, but I just prefer a more kind of detailed brush. So it's a little angled one there, and you can see the glitter is on it. So what I've done is added a little bit of the Duraline into the lid of the glitter pot again, and then just kind of dipped the brush in the glitter. And it makes it into a little bit more of a paste rather than a loose glitter. If it was a loose glitter, you could also use this to like pat on the lid, and then it will stick to the lid really well. Duraline's good for that. But I'm just making it into a bit more of a paste so that I can then press it on top of this liner. Now at this stage, I feel like you might have to go over this a few times, depending on the glitter you're using, I suppose. But it might not come up as vibrant as you want the very first time you're doing it. So just be aware of that. And with the other eye, I also noticed that maybe the glitter was a little bit wet when I mixed it up the first time. So I actually dipped into the dry glitter, like just the little particles, and used some of that straight on top so that it gave a little bit more sparkle. You see that there? Now don't worry too much if there's glitter that goes over the line slightly. It won't cause any major issues. It's a dark enough colour and a fun enough colour that it's just going to look like a good bit of sparkle. I think, I don't know, if you were using opposite colours, if you're using like a white underneath something, because it's a dark liner, I don't think you notice it too much. But if you were using something that were really opposite colours, then it might. But because they're the same, I didn't notice any difference. And there we go, as simple as that, and very, very effective. Okay, next up what I done, and I think I actually done it before I put the liner on the other eye, sorry, is I took a little bit of bronzer, this is my V bronzer, and just swirled in both colours on a fluffy brush, tap it off a little, and then just for a little definition, I just scuttled that into the crease here. You see here how I've got it there? Just a little bit. Because, I mean, you don't have to do that. You could just leave it as a liner. But I felt like I needed just a little bit of definition on that area of my eye. And as I said then at the last minute, I decided to put a little bit of that under here as well. So let's just do it before I put the mascara on this time. And what I do like as well, see, especially if you're doing it as a bit more of a shape than anything else, is you could follow that out, that tail out a bit with the bronzer. Like, you don't need to just end it there. Follow it out a little. I mean, you don't have to do that either, but I kind of think it makes it, I don't know, looks a little shadowy. I like it. Now for the inner corner, as I said, I used the Danessa Myricks palette, and this is Spring Equinox, but any kind of duochrome green colour will work here. And I'm just putting it right in the inner corner, down towards that tear duct, and then I took it up into this area of my eye a little bit as well. Not too much, but I just wanted it to have a little sheen, so when I move, people will be able to see it. I don't know if you'll see it in the camera, but in real life, it just adds a little extra pop of something. Almost like bring it into the inner corner and fade it up towards the space that you've got, the blank space you've got on your eyelid. I just think it looks really pretty. And then I'm going to take a little bit and pop it under the brow as well, which I know is a little retro and a little 80s, but I feel like this colour is subtle enough to get away with that, and with the green on the eye, it just kind of works. I'm going to go in with some mascara, and it is the Maybelline Sky High, as always, the Cosmic Black. This is actually a new one. I've been through a full tube of this mascara because that's how much I have enjoyed it. It's so, so good. As I said, I will always have any kind of discount codes and stuff like that down below, so if you can pick this up via Look Fantastic or Boots or whatever, I will put all the products down below, but if there's discount available on them, that will be there too. And I think it might already have passed now by the time this video goes up, but they had a really good Black Friday deal on Look Fantastic on this mascara, and it was like 2 tubes of it for maybe like you buy one get one half price type thing. So keep your eyes peeled for things like that. It might still be there in the run up to Christmas. Here we go. Now I'm going to go on and put a little bit of concealer in here as well, and then we can talk about base. So as I've said before, I don't need a load of concealer in these areas. I just want to take away that slight blue tone underneath my eye. So a little bit there and a little bit here. And actually I've taken that concealer a little bit too high because I've took it on top of my bronzer, so I'll need to rectify that in 2 seconds. If you have made any boo-boos at this point though, this will be a great eraser to tighten up that line if you feel like you've made a mess of things. Okay, so on this brow I have used the Gen C Arch Support, I believe it's called. Arch Support powder brow gel. This is the one that's got a really cool texture to it. This makes your eyebrows really, really dark. I've obviously just put a little bit through this one as well now. But I hoped you could see at the start there just how different that eyebrow was from this one. So you have to go with quite a light hand, I would say. I always scrape a little bit off of the product on top. And if I remember rightly, this is medium brown, is that right? The writing is that small. There is absolutely no chance. But I'm pretty sure this is medium brown that I picked this up in. So just to be aware of that, because I obviously have very dark hair and very dark brows. But medium brown could mean that you have, like, I don't know, a bit more of a dark blonde to a light brown, and I think that it's a very, very dark brow product. For this look, that's what I want, because this is all very simple. The lip is going to be simple. I just want it to all be eyes. So yeah, I'm just wiping. My fingers are covered in green eyeliner now, and I feel like there's going to be a point I'll touch my face and my face is going to be absolutely bogging. So today for base, I am going to do a little bit of e.l.f. Halo Glow just on the kind of high points of my face. I don't necessarily need it to be all over the place today. So yeah, just to give a little added glow. And this does have a little bit of coverage, but not loads. So I'm going to, I kind of want perfected, flawless skin with this look. Again, because it's all about the eyes and there's not going to be a heck of a lot. It's just the liner. I want the skin to be quite simple, but also flawless at the same time. I don't want it to be super duper blushy or anything like that. I just want the skin to look really clean and glowy, I suppose. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of the IT Cosmetics CC cream as well, but I'm not going to use a whole lot of it. I'm just going to use it kind of sparingly, like really buff it into my brush and then just kind of place it in the other areas where I didn't have the e.l.f. and then down the neck as well, because obviously I don't want to be just ending it at my cheek there or my jawline. So just a little bit more in these areas here. Now, these are obviously two different colours and you might panic and think, oh, do you know what, that's not going to look even. I've never really had a problem with that, but also if you want, you can obviously dab over the top of the e.l.f. Halo Glow. It just means the glow is going to be from underneath rather than on top. I prefer using it that way. Somebody might say they want to use that on top of the CC cream, but I feel like that will lift it slightly. Just with the two textures of the products and the way they work, I feel like that might lift the IT product. So I wanted to do it that way round. You could also mix the two of them together. There's nothing stopping you doing that. The e.l.f. Halo Glow is really, really good for that. So it's completely up to you how you do it, but I just want kind of perfected, dewy, glowy skin. There we go, and I think you can see there's a nice sheen to the skin there. It doesn't look absolutely ridiculous. If you feel it's too much, powder, it's up to you. I'm going to put on a little bit of Danessa Vision Flush in ballet slippers. I haven't spoke about this for a little while on this channel, but when I bought this, was it last year or 2020? I can't remember. When I picked this up, I was like, ballet slippers, this is really brown. And they have one called, is it Bread and Butter? And I feel like this one should be called Bread and Butter and the other one should be called Ballet Slippers, if that's the name. I can't remember. If I find the right name, I'll put it here, but if not, then this is the right name. I got it right. But Ballet Slippers is a really warm, almost like cinnamon colour, I want to say. And the other one I find is actually very pink. So I feel like they've been named the wrong way, and I've said that before in this channel, but I haven't mentioned it for a while. So I'm going to take this. This is very akin to that of the glossy cloud paints, so use sparingly because they're very pigmented, but these blend beautifully. Now I said I didn't want too much blush, but what's really nice about these is, and this colour, is that it's not going to change. Like, I'm not putting on a plum blush with the green eye. It's just going to start shaping my face and almost in a little bit of a bronzer way. And that's for me and my skin tone. It might not work for everybody else. But it's just such a beautiful colour on the tops of the cheeks here. Like, it's just like lifted that side of my face. But it's not too much. If you do feel like it's too much, honestly, go under your foundation brush and just knock that back a little bit if you want to. I feel like I brought mine down a little too far, but just knock it back if you like. The Vision Flushies are beautiful products. I don't think they get spoke about enough. I feel like everybody raved about them at a point and then everybody forgot about them when she started coming out with the big palettes and all that kind of stuff, and now everybody wants to talk about the yummy skin stuff, you know, like as things do, people move on, blah blah blah. But I feel like, don't sit on these, don't knock these back, don't like think, oh, do you know what, no, there's other stuff she's doing now. Fucking check these out because they're so nice. Again, just going in my foundation brush just to make sure everything is very seamlessly blended there on the top. It's just, oh, just a little kiss of something on your cheeks. You can use them on your lips as well and your eyes, by the way. You don't need to just use them on your cheeks, but I think they are beautiful. So I'm going to go in with the Vive bronzer and I'm going to take it on, will I take it on my Vive brush? That is what is on this anyway. I'm going to go into light 1 for this time of year. I kind of can't be really getting away with this anymore. So I'm just going to take this into a little bit of the hollow of the cheek here, getting a little bit of shaping going on. But I don't want this to be overly bronzy or anything like that. I just purely want this to be a little bit of shape. It's funny, I was watching the H3 podcast. I don't know if anybody watches that. I fucking love it. And it's basically just, it's just like a social commentary type of podcast and I really enjoy it. And they were doing makeup tutorials and one of the cast members of the podcast, Olivia, was saying it's like the 3 technique, and I thought, do you know what, when I was a teenager slash in my 20s, that was the technique. I didn't realise that's what people were still calling it. So it is E3. She just called it the 3 technique, but when I was younger this is what you used to call it, the E3. So you're gonna do because this is on camera, I won't know until I'm editing what side is which. Is that going to be a 3 when you're looking at it? So this is going to be the E, yeah, like a capital letter E, and this is going to be the 3. That is kind of where you're placing your bronzer. If you've ever been a little confused about where to put bronzer, people always say, oh, put it where the sun hits, which absolutely true. But technically the sun hits all your face, so I can get why people be like, what the fuck are you talking about? So when Olivia had mentioned that, I was like, oh my god, the E3. Nobody, I've not heard anybody say that in ages. So you're just wanting it E3. That's the shape you're doing. What I would say as well is though, if you're doing quite a heavy job, like if you're trying to make it look like you don't have double chins and stuff, which quite frequently I'm trying to do, also make sure you take it down your neck a little. Like you don't want to just be like here and not blending that out. And then on the tops of the cheeks, I'm going to take the Vive Skin Dew because I think for this time of the year, it just, like, I love this product in the summer. I adore it in the summer. But also for this time of year, oh, I should have showed you what I've done there. So squeeze a little tiny bit onto this fatty bit in my thumb. And then you just do that together. I'm sure that's what Jamie Genevieve does as well. I'm sure I've seen her do it. So then just take that fatty bit at the bottom of your thumb and place it on the tops of the cheekbones right here. Be careful as well, like you don't want to lift all the product off underneath, so do it nice and lightly. And then sometimes what I'll do as well is with a little bit of excess, I'll put some just between the eyebrows at the very top of the ridge of my nose, and generally as well I'll put a little bit at the top of my cupid's bow right here. You could put some at the end of your nose as well, but my nose is that big that I don't really like to accentuate that area. And then what I'm going to do is again take my foundation brush and just gently dab that, because I, again, want that glow to be coming from within rather than sitting right on top of the skin. I know a lot of people feel like that product is a little greasy for them, and I think that's a really good way to get it to meld with your makeup rather than sitting on the top. I don't bother with the greasiness. I kind of like it being a little bit tacky, but I get that other people don't like it. If you feel you've went a little bit ham, then go in with your powder. I'm going to take Glossier Wowder, and I am going to set this just very sparingly round about here, because this is areas where I get oily, round about here, and a tiny little bit on the bottom of my chin there, nowhere else. I feel like if I powder too much it starts to make me look a little older than I already am. That is the only places I'm putting powder. Now for lips, I kind of wondered with this look, I thought could do a really plum lip, could do this, and I thought no, I don't want it, like I said, I just want it to be about the eyes. So I'm going to take this from Rimmel. This is their Lasting Finish lip liners. This is brilliant. This is Spice. It's a very old colour. This one is not old, but the colour is very old. Like my original Spice pencil, I'm sure I picked up again, late teens, early 20s. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a kind of line and fill situation. Now I was wondering, do I want to use my Colour Stay? This one is in, oh god, what's it called? Tread Lightly. Or do I want to use my e.l.f. Glossy Lip Stain? This is in Burnt Sienna. I don't know if you can see that there. I feel like this might be too dark. I'm going to try the e.l.f. one first. That's actually not bad. I was worried it was going to be like too full on, but because it's just a glossy lip stain, that actually looks quite pretty. If you wanted though, if I felt like it was too much, you could tone that down slightly with this one, because it is a little bit more muted. I love mixing up lipsticks. I think getting your own kind of lip colour to suit your shape and the look that you're wearing and stuff. I do it all the time. I mix up lip products all the time. So I quite like that colour. It's almost like just like a little neutral rust colour. I'm going to just put on a little bit more liner, so I feel like I took it away with a gloss. But I like that. I think if you were going classic Christmas, you could absolutely use a red lipstick as well. I mean, there's nothing stopping you, but I just thought that might be a little bit too much for me. I really enjoy the way that it's turned out, and also practice. Just practice makes perfect with your eyeliner. I don't really know what else to tell you. I'm really sorry. I'm shite. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you are all getting in the swing of things for Christmas and you're kind of building up to it all now. I hope you're having a great time. I hope you all have a great festive period, and I will see you all again soon for the next one.